You will never grow until you outgrow yourself. Read that again, because that one line holds the secret to every transformation, every breakthrough, and every legend that was ever built from nothing. Most people spend their whole lives trying to add more money, more validation, more comfort, and yet they never evolve, because growth doesn't come from adding more. It comes from letting go, from shedding the layers of the person you used to be, from outgrowing the version of you that settled, hesitated, and played small. There comes a moment in every man's life when the mirror stops lying, when you can no longer escape the quiet truth staring back at you, that you've outgrown your own excuses, that the life you're living no longer fits who you are becoming. And that moment is painful, because real growth begins with loss. You have to lose your comfort, lose your certainty, lose your old identity. You have to die in the version of you that the world taught you to be before you can rise as the version you were meant to become. That's why most people never change, because comfort feels like safety. But it's a slow poison. Comfort kills ambition. It makes you forget your hunger. It whispers that tomorrow will be easier, that you can start next week, that this is good enough. But deep down, you know it isn't. You know you were built for more. Growth doesn't happen in comfort. Growth happens in friction. When your back is against the wall and the easy option is no longer available, when the only path forward is through the fire, the man who evolves isn't the one who waits for the right time. He's the one who looks around, sees that nothing will ever be ready, and moves anyway, because he understands that progress never feels like progress when you're in it. It feels like chaos. It feels like resistance. It feels like breaking apart, and that's exactly what evolution is, a controlled demolition of who you used to be. The greatest enemy of your growth isn't failure, it's familiarity, because when something feels familiar, it tricks your brain into believing it's safe. But safety and purpose cannot coexist. The man who stays safe never becomes great. You see, nature itself is built on this principle. The snake sheds its skin not because it wants to, but because it must. If it doesn't, it dies. The same is true for you. The longer you hold on to your old habits, your old stories, your old identity, the more you suffocate the new version trying to be born. You can't take your old mindset into your next level. You can't carry your old excuses into your new destiny. You can't evolve while still trying to protect the comfort of the man you used to be. That's why life keeps repeating lessons until you finally understand them. The same pain, the same failure, the same disappointment over and over until you realize it's not punishment, it's preparation. Life is not testing your strength, it's revealing it. And one day, you'll wake up and realize the things you once feared are no longer scary. The things you once chased no longer excite you because you've outgrown them. That's the beauty of evolution. It's not a single moment. It's a gradual awakening. When you start evolving, you'll notice something strange. The people around you will resist your change. They'll call you distant, different, maybe even arrogant. But what they're really saying is, you've stopped being predictable. You've stopped staying in the version of yourself that made them comfortable. And that's the price of growth. You will outgrow people too. You'll outgrow conversations that drain your energy. You'll outgrow environments that keep you small. You'll outgrow the need to be understood, because the higher you climb, the quieter it becomes. Evolution is a lonely path, not because you're alone, but because few have the courage to walk it. The crowd will always choose comfort over change. They'll watch motivational videos, read books, talk about growth. But when it's time to act, they'll retreat back into their old patterns. You can't, not anymore, because something inside you has shifted. You've seen what's possible, and once your mind expands, it can never shrink back. That voice inside, the one that keeps whispering that you're meant for more, that's your future self calling you forward. He's not asking for motivation. He's asking for discipline, for focus, for a willingness to let the old you die, because that's the real war. Not against the world, but against your own comfort. Every day, your old self will try to pull you back to the habits that numb you, the thoughts that limit you, the routines that make you feel safe but stuck. And your only job is to resist, to outgrow them. When you stop chasing comfort, you start attracting peace, real peace. Peace that doesn't depend on outcomes, on validation, or on the opinions of others. Peace that comes from knowing you're walking your path with purpose. That's evolution, when the noise of the world no longer dictates the rhythm of your soul. When your direction is set not by applause, but by alignment. Because the evolved man isn't louder than the world, he's quieter. Not because he's weak, but because he no longer has anything to prove. He's too focused on progress, too busy building, too aware that comfort is a cage and comparison is the lock. So if you want to evolve, stop checking who's ahead. You are not late. You are not behind. You are exactly where you need to be, as long as you're still moving forward. One silent step in truth beats 1,000 loud steps in imitation. Keep walking, keep refining, keep building quietly, because once you outgrow your old self, you don't just change, you transform. You become unstoppable. Focus, that's the word that separates the dreamers from the doers. The loss is from the leaders. The distracted are not destined. Because here's the truth, you don't need more motivation. You don't need another inspirational quote. You don't need someone to believe in you. You need focus, ruthless, disciplined, unwavering focus. In a world full of noise, the man who can control his attention controls his destiny. Most people aren't losing because they're weak. They're losing because they're distracted. Their dreams die not from lack of effort, but from fragmentation. They start 10 things and finish none. They chase momentum but never master direction. Their minds have become marketplaces, full of other people's priorities, opinions, and desires. And in that chaos, their purpose fades into background noise. If you truly want to evolve, you must take back your attention like a soldier reclaiming stolen ground. Because where your attention goes, your energy flows. And where your energy flows, your life grows. That's not philosophy. That's physics. Every time you check your phone before you check your purpose, you're feeding distraction. Every time you argue instead of act, you're feeding weakness. Every time you consume instead of create, you're feeding delay. And what you feed will always grow stronger than you. The man who evolves doesn't feed his distractions, he starves them. Focus isn't a feeling. It's not something that arrives when you're inspired. It's a decision, a daily, deliberate act of war against chaos. Because the truth is, you're not fighting time, you're fighting noise. Every notification, every pointless conversation, and every meaningless scroll is stealing fragments of your potential. And a fragmented mind cannot build a focused life. Napoleon Hill said it best. The man who can keep his mind fixed upon a definite purpose and make every thought serve that purpose is destined for success. That's the formula. Definite purpose plus directed thought equals destiny. Focus is the new superpower. Not luck, not talent, not motivation. Because talent without focus is wasted potential, and motivation without discipline is noise without movement. Focus is the bridge between your potential and your results. And momentum is the vehicle that carries you across that bridge. Momentum is not magic, it's math. It's built one disciplined decision at a time, one repetition, 1 hour of deep work, one refusal to quit when your old self begs you to stop. It's not built on grand gestures, it's built in silence, in the moments no one claps for, when you choose repetition over rest, consistency over comfort, and purpose over pleasure. Momentum doesn't care about speed, it only cares about direction. Even a small, steady push in the right direction eventually becomes an unstoppable force. That's why you must protect your focus like your life depends on it, because it does. Every open tab in your mind adds friction. Every unresolved emotion adds weight. Every person that drains your energy slows your movement. A heavy mind moves slowly. If you want to accelerate your evolution, you must cut ruthlessly. Cut the noise. Cut the excuses. Cut the people who want connection without contribution, because you cannot build momentum surrounded by mediocrity. Your circle must reflect your direction. Your environment must serve your evolution. If your surroundings aren't designed for focus, you're not just undisciplined, you're unprotected. The world will always tempt you to drift, and drifting is the death of destiny. That's why you must anchor yourself daily with 3 questions. What am I building? What deserves my energy today? Does this decision serve the man I'm becoming? These 3 questions eliminate 99% of the noise. They pull your mind out of chaos and back into creation. Because when your focus becomes fixed, your life becomes fluid. When your direction becomes clear, your steps become natural. And when your momentum compounds, success becomes inevitable. But here's the trap. Most people sabotage their own momentum. They start strong, then get distracted. They let their old patterns whisper, "Take it easy. You've done enough." They don't realize momentum is fragile. Once it stops, it doesn't restart itself. You must rebuild it from zero. That's why the evolved man guards his momentum like gold. He doesn't let comfort interrupt his rhythm. He doesn't let laziness negotiate with his standards. He knows that every day of consistency compounds into power. When you win your morning, you win your day. When you win your day, you win your week. And when you win your weeks consistently, you become unstoppable. This is where evolution becomes visible. When discipline becomes your default. When focus becomes your fuel. When momentum becomes your identity. At that point, you stop chasing results. Results start chasing you. Because you've built something most people never master: emotional control. The ability to act with purpose even when motivation disappears. The ability to stay calm when the world demands reaction. The ability to keep building while others keep talking. You stop waiting to feel ready. You stop seeking inspiration. You stop caring about how long it takes, because your only concern is direction. That's when you start becoming unrecognizable. When you wake up every day with clarity, not confusion. When your habits reflect your purpose. When your peace becomes louder than the noise of the world. You stop being a man who reacts to life. You become a man who architects it. Because once you've tasted the power of focus and the momentum it builds, you'll never go back. You'll no longer be seduced by shortcuts, praise, or validation, because you'll realize that real growth, the kind that changes your life, is quiet. It's built in the unseen hours. It's fueled by obsession, not approval. And when you finally master that, you don't just evolve, you ascend. There comes a moment in every man's journey when he looks in the mirror and doesn't recognize who's staring back. That's not confusion. That's not loss. That's transformation. You've changed. The world might not notice it yet, but your energy has shifted. Your eyes carry a stillness that only comes from surviving storms. Your presence commands attention, not through noise, but through peace. That's what happens when you outgrow yourself. You no longer chase what once consumed you. You no longer explain yourself to those committed to misunderstanding you. You no longer seek validation from a world still asleep because you finally woke up. Evolution doesn't announce itself. It doesn't come with applause. It comes quietly in the form of discipline, patience, and isolation. It's built in the silence of early mornings, in the stillness of long nights, in the countless choices no one will ever see. You see, the man you used to be had habits that scattered your energy. He chased attention, validation, and comfort. He mistook movement for progress, distraction for purpose, pleasure for peace. But that man is gone. You buried him every time you refused to quit, every time you showed up tired, every time you chose focus over comfort, growth over gossip, purpose over pleasure. That's how evolution works, not in a single explosion, but in 1,000 quiet decisions that compound into power. Napoleon Hill once said, "Definiteness of purpose is the starting point of all achievement. And when your purpose becomes your oxygen, drifting is no longer an option. You stop waiting. You stop talking. You stop needing permission to rise. You simply move. You execute. You act. The old version of you wanted comfort. The evolved version craves clarity. The old version sought success. The new one builds legacy. And the beauty of this evolution, it doesn't just change how you act, it changes who you are. You start walking differently, speaking differently, thinking differently. Your silence begins to intimidate people who haven't done the inner work. Because silence, when built from self-mastery, speaks louder than any words ever could. You no longer react to life. You architect it. You no longer seek control over others, only over yourself. And that's where real power begins, self-mastery. Because mastery isn't a single act. It's a way of being. It's built in every small decision that honors your future over your feelings. Every moment you choose purpose over pleasure. Every time you choose restraint over reaction. That's the foundation of becoming unrecognizable. Not because you've changed who you are, but because you've returned to who you were meant to be. Before the world told you to shrink. Before fear taught you to doubt. Before failure made you play safe. Evolution is not about becoming someone new, it's about remembering who you were before the noise. And once you reclaim that version of yourself, everything changes. Your mind sharpens, your direction clarifies, your energy becomes magnetic. You stop hoping for better days because you realize you are the creator of them. You stop waiting for the right moment because you understand this is the right moment. And when the world finally sees you, calm, confident, focused, unshakable, they'll say, "You've changed." And you'll smile because they're right. You didn't just change, you evolved. You became the man your old self couldn't handle. You've earned your peace through battle. You've earned your confidence through consistency. You've earned your freedom through discipline. And that's the highest form of wealth, the ability to look in the mirror and say, "I built him." Because the man who forces himself to outgrow his old self doesn't just live differently, he lives deliberately. He no longer drifts through life hoping things will change. He moves through life knowing he is the change. That's the true essence of growth. Not more possessions, not more validation, but more presence. The quiet knowing that you are aligned with your purpose. Every scar, every failure, every disappointment was necessary. They weren't detours, they were directions. Each one carved you into the man you are now. Focused, grounded, unstoppable. So if you've made it this far, understand this: you're not like most people. Most listen to words like these and go back to sleep, but not you. You stayed. You faced yourself. You confronted your patterns. You looked your old self in the eyes and said, "Your time is over." That's rare. That's power. And that's where rebirth begins. So here's your final reminder. You don't wait for transformation. You force it. You stop negotiating with your potential. You stop making peace with your excuses. You stop wishing and you start building. Because once you outgrow your old self, you'll never fit into small spaces again. You'll speak differently, move differently, command differently, because your life will finally match the standard you set for yourself. And when the world tries to pull you back into the version you buried, smile, let them. Because they're talking to a ghost. You've evolved, you've risen, you've become the man who doesn't just dream of freedom, he embodies it. This is your rebirth, your evolution, your era. Now go build the life that proves it, because growth doesn't wait and greatness doesn't negotiate. You are not becoming, you already are. Unrecognizable, unshakable, unstoppable.